Welcome to Passion for Life with Dee and Friends. I'm sitting in for Dee this evening, and my name is Chella from Body Shop TV that you can catch here on MadhouseTV.com every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. Tonight we're going to be discussing a very serious issue in regard to domestic violence. And this evening I have a young woman by the name of Nicole.
Nicole,
Nicole,
yes.
thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you.
I know this is a very delicate subject for you and for all of our viewers, and I appreciate you coming out tonight. And we also have an officer of the law that's joined with us this evening. Thank you so much for coming, sir.
Thank you.
So I did a little bit of research. I've met many women in my past that have had experiences in domestic violence. I recently met a gentleman that was abused by his ex-wife, physically abused. And you don't hear about those issues very often. And I learned that 1 out of 4 women will experience domestic violence in her lifetime.
Unfortunately, yes.
And I thought that was quite alarming. And I also learned that children that witness domestic violence are prone to be abused themselves because their level of self-esteem begins to diminish and they just fall prey to that type of abuse. So, Nicole, you want to share with us your story?
Sure. I met an individual at a gym in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. He seemed, I mean, we actually, he and I had the same trainer. We had never spoken to one another, but he seemed like he was a very nice guy. So at some point in time, we would just speak, whatever, and we eventually started to date. I didn't know that he was a boxer.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and actually it was a boxing gym. It was Gleason's boxing gym in Brooklyn. And at some point, I don't know, he spoke about marriage and a whole bit. So I had asked him if he had any children back in his country because he's from Guyana. Mm-hmm. He said no. Everything was no. Everything pretty much what I wanted to hear is what he said. To make a long story short, he was married to a woman in Guyana, had a child, the whole bit. But I didn't know all of that. I found that out after we had gotten married.
So he had married you while already married in Guyana?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I found a link on the internet, an international link on his absconding story. And I, of course, confronted him about it, and he went off. But by then, I think I had already had our first child. So I found all of this out after. Mm-hmm. As far as the abusive portion of it, it began when I was pregnant with my first.
How many children do you have from him?
I have 2 with him. Mm-hmm. I have 5 total, but 2 with him, which are babies, 6 and 9. It grew, the violence. I would say it started out as verbal because I was a phenomenal woman, and then he tried to break me down by saying little foolishness. Oh, you have all these kids now, all this kind of stuff, and then he would speak about his papers, the green card, filing through for his green card, working permit, the whole bit. Mm-hmm. That process it went through, and he got everything through me, through the marriage. And it was all planned because he said something about having kids here makes it easier. And my last one, which I've never really spoken about, I spoke to him, argued with him about it, but my last child was conceived through rape. And he said, it's not rape. How is it rape when I'm your husband? Of course, in his accent, I would do it, but. And I'm like, he held me down, around my neck, whatever, the whole bit, and my kids were in the other room. So I didn't scream out or anything because I tried. I didn't want to alarm the children. And he wasn't, when I gave birth to that child, he wasn't allowed in the hospital because I had an order of protection, a whole bit. But he was never arrested for that because I never said anything. And see, that's the thing. A lot of women don't speak out.
Why didn't you speak out?
More of embarrassment. Fear. Yeah, because he would threaten, like he walked around as if he could take on the world. And because I had children, he also used to beat my children as well, but not of the marriage. Well, my of a previous relationship, and he always went after one particular son. And come to find out, he was also abused as a child, and he was molested as well. He would say things, but then he would forget that he said it. So one day I told my son, you need to seek professional help for what you have gone through as a child. It's not your fault. And then he what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So it's like he didn't, he wanted to forget what he told me. Like he wanted to just erase it, but it wouldn't go away. This is what happened to you, so deal with it. I tried to help. You cannot help someone that doesn't want to help. And why I stayed 8 years. Stayed as long as I did because I was hoping that he would change. He was always very apologetic. Sorry, Nikki, I wouldn't do it again. But it grew worse. Each situation, whether it be physical, verbal, or whatever, it would worsen.
What was the physical abuse when it started?
It started out with a simple smack.
In your face?
Yeah. And he would do it in front of the children, and that is when I said, this guy really has issues because, why would you do it in front of the kids? But then, what is it, 2000, I believe it was like 2010 or whatever. Like I said, the physical portion of it just grew. It grew. It intensified. And there was one situation when I think I was about to go to work, and we argued over something. I think it was money or something, the mortgage. I don't know what it was, but anyway, he punched me. He punched me, smacked me, and when I went to hit him back, whatever, he hit me and I fell, and he just started to punch me in the back of my head. And then in 2000, I didn't go to the hospital, again, due to embarrassment. I stayed home and I nursed the area. I did call, I think my daughter called the police, my oldest child, she called police, and he ran. The detectives picked him up at a supermarket, nearby, because he would call, Nikki, I'm sorry. I'm like, I heard that before. I want to come home. He slept in his car in the streets. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'm not buying it. But I still let him back in after a certain amount of time. But again, I didn't speak about the punches that he had landed in the back of my head. So nothing was ever documented. You know what I mean? And in October 2011, I had brain surgery. Now, my surgeon never knew. I didn't speak to her about it. She knows now, but I hadn't spoken to her about what I had gone through with him. So she says she doesn't know if, she can't say for sure, but those punches definitely caused, it caused some damage. Now, what you see is a miracle because I couldn't see out of my left eye. I had a walker. I had my memory, I had to learn to do everything all over again.
What was your diagnosis?
What is it? Something meningioma, something like that. It was a mass that rested on my main artery. And when a couple of hours out, I think my family said after they had taken me out of ER, they were in ICU, and he walked out because my mother covered. They said I was saying something about cold, and they said my mother covered my feet with the blanket, and he grew upset and walked out. And after I gotten home, he said the doctors didn't dig deep enough. And yeah, and it took some time for whatever statements that were being made, you know, the children, whatever, to register because I was like delayed. My brain was rebooting.
How long were you incapacitated?
Not very, I would say not very long because I pushed myself to get better because I wanted to get rid of him. I was like, I can't deal with this guy. This man is literally trying to kill me. And I still have him here. Why? So I would put the walker aside. I would walk on my own. I even asked him one night to help me out of the bed. I wanted to walk, and he's like, "Oh, you know," he just went off. He would even after I came home, and he still managed to hit me after I came home. And I said, "Why did you do that?" I said, "You know, I can't see, I can't walk well." I said, and we were outside in the back of the house, by the garage, and I tripped. I didn't see the step, and I said, "What if I had fallen and hit my head?" And he said, "So what?" And then my oldest son said he was wondering why it took me so long to come back into the house. And he said if he would have come outside and seen that, he would have jumped on him. I'm glad he didn't because, like I said, he had no respect for life, animals, anything. He'd try and do away with anything, and it starts with small animals. So it's like he had joy out of seeing something or someone hurt.
This angers me to listen to.
But it's okay because I'm here. I always say he tried, but he didn't succeed.
Nicole, you said that you never reported these incidents because you were embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
Are you embarrassed today to talk about it?
Not at all. And can I say something? We were in court because prior to going on the air, you know, we spoke about visitation and everything. It was supervised. The children had supervised visitation. But his just early part of this year, his lawyer, you said you were embarrassed. You know, it was comical to me. But the judge, he stopped him. He was just going on. And I just, I'm not going to let you intimidate Miss Martin and whatever. And I'm saying, no, let me answer. But I'm like, why would I be embarrassed to have life? I was. That was the old Nikki. She no longer exists. Because people like this need to be exposed. He walks around. He was arrested several times, yeah. But they got him out on bail. At one time, his employer, his ex-current, whatever, they bailed him out. I have never seen anything like that in my entire life. That's because he gets into individuals' minds and he makes them believe that he's this perfect gentleman, and which is he's a work of art.
He's good at his game.
Yep.
Wow, Nikki, we're going to take a break right now. That information just rages me, man.
It's okay because I'm here. He's a joke.
Unbelievable. So I encourage all of our viewers to call in with any questions or any experiences that you may want to share, and we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our 2 offices. Thank you.
Shannon Gates is the #1 fence provider on Long Island, with the most inventory in stock, including vinyl, chain link, and aluminum. Gates offers a custom powder-coated system that prevents rust throughout the life of the fence. We carry fence tools to the trade. We even stock wood, rail, and glass hardware as well. Shannon Gates has our very own patented locking system. The next time you need fencing of any sort, both commercial and private, give Shannon Gates a call at 631-392-4330. You can also visit our website at shannongatesinc.com.
Welcome back to Passion for Life with Dee and Friends. And my name is Chella, sitting in for Dee this evening. Dee, we hope you're having a great time in Florida. And I'm here talking about domestic violence with Nicole and the Office of the Law. So, sir, I have a question for you. You had mentioned to me earlier that you get, or used to get, a lot of calls in regards to domestic violence. And there's a difference between domestic violence and what else?
Regular calls.
Okay. So talk to me about your experiences.
We treat domestic violence extremely seriously. Domestic violence is something, like the lady had stated earlier, that takes a lot of nulling and pulling to get information out. In the case of domestic violence, as opposed to anything else, say if you have a fight with someone in the street, you don't know that person. Mm-hmm. So your expectation to tell everything is expected because you have no relationship with that person. When you have a relationship with the person that abuses you, even though they did abuse you, you still have a relationship. So you almost subconsciously feel like you have to defend them. So that's why we take it so seriously, because we know that there is a relationship between the abuser and the abusee in domestic violence.
Talk to me about orders of protection. So many women have shared with me that they would be involved in an abusive relationship and they would seek out an order of protection, and it doesn't really work for them. I know one incident where the young lady was killed by her predator because he violated it. I mean, what's the purpose of them?
It's not that the order of protection doesn't work. It's what safety issues are you doing to ensure along with the order of protection.
Look at the limitations that we have. I'm speaking about on behalf of women because I am a woman. We receive an order of protection, which is a piece of paper. That individual is told not to come within so many feet or whatever from us. That's easily broken.
First, let me explain to you that order of protection has no sex, has no gender. Men get abused, women get abused, children get abused. So
absolutely.
I want to start and state that case, everyone gets abused. With order of protection, there's variations of order of protection. There's a stay away. There is a non-communication. There's a what you state physical abuse, where you can be in the same proximity, but as long as you don't abuse. So there's different variations of an order of protection. So in lines with that, I can't answer those questions because that's a court matter. That is not a police matter.
Did you have an order of protection?
Yeah, several. And just to elaborate on something that he said, whoever does have one, what they need to do is follow through with it. Because a lot of people, they have it, and like he said, because there's a relationship there, it's like, oh, well, I know if I go back to the police, they're going to arrest him or her or whatever. So I'm just going to, just lay low with that. You know what I mean? You can have several. But if you don't follow through with them, it means nothing. Because I did the same thing. But the last one not the last one, but I had one because it was refrained from. Like he says, different variations: refrain from, stay away, everything. It's a bunch of them. And it said, Nicole, if he intimidates you, harasses you in any form or fashion, just come back. That was issued in Supreme Court. Now, after I came, but I have forgotten. But then, like my oldest child, my oldest daughter, she says, "Mommy, but you really didn't." She said, "I feel that you really didn't want to even, go to the police because, I protected him. Each time you don't go and follow through with it, you protect your abuser."
Exactly. What you're giving the person who is abusing you is the expectation and the realization that it's okay that I can do this again. Because every time it is not reported, you are giving that person the power to say, I can do this again. And I can go further along
and get away with
because if I was able to get away with what I did this time, I should be able to get away with what I can do the next time.
And on the other hand, if she did pursue each violation, doesn't that just piss that person off?
I can't speak of another party, but when I as a police officer or police hear of a violent domestic abuse, we have to ensure the safety of the person who's reporting it because it takes a lot of courage to come forth. They know that there's a part that they still want things to happen, to work out. But there's another part that doesn't happen, which is the violence. So it takes a lot of courage for women or for people in general to come forth. So when it is an act of violence, we make sure that that situation is not even under their control. Any acts of violence amongst parties, the person who reported it doesn't have a say in whether or not the party will go to jail. It's automatic. Even if there's an act of violence, not towards you, but an act of anger, the other party is usually not allowed to even stay in a home. We, as police officers, take the fact of violence very seriously, and we take it amongst domestic violence very seriously because they're usually sharing the same proximity. I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. You have a fight with someone in the street. You can go at it, but you guys can go home. She doesn't know where you live, and she doesn't know where you live. You guys can separate. You guys have a fight. You guys either have contact via telephone. via email, via home address. So we have to take it seriously. We have to let the party who is abusing know that this will not be tolerated. So that's why we are very serious about domestic violence, and we're very serious about prosecuting the law amongst our most power.
Let me ask you a personal question, Officer of the Law. Have you ever had the experience of someone in your family being abused through domestic violence?
Yes.
And you were a police officer at the time?
Yes.
Were you able to separate? Because a lot of times when we work in the profession, it's hard for us to separate.
That is an individual case. It's not a police case. It's an individual based case.
That's what I'm asking you, a personal question.
In personal, I am able to separate the fact of the person who, in my case, was the abused. I took the matters that I felt I needed to invoke with information that I have being a law enforcement officer, and share that information with my relative on the importance of filing, of pressing charges to the fullest extent, and not being silent about it.
Good. Very good. So, Nicole, your ex-husband?
Yes.
Is he still local?
He's still in this country, yes, and he's still in Suffolk County. Yeah, he's local. Central Islip, to be exact.
Okay.
But I just want to add something to
Officer of the Law.
the order protection portion of it. I had an order, was valid, but I was very disappointed with Suffolk County Police, that police officer at the time, because when I did go to report him hitting me after I had come home from having my brain surgery, they told me that I came too late, and I said, what do you consider late? This happened Tuesday, and it was, from what I remember, he told me that, oh, that was last week. That was almost a week ago. You have to go back down to family court. You have to go to family court and file for another order of protection. And I said, well, I have one. It was issued in Supreme Court, and it says right here that whatever, it's valid, refrain from intimidation, the whole bit. And he says, yeah, but you have to go back because that was a week ago. They could have rearrested this guy on that order. And I'm like, a week ago? And I said, I had brain surgery. I couldn't remember. My children had to remind me that I had this order. And I had to go back to, I did go. I followed his advice, and I went back to family court. I went to family court, and they did issue one. Now, see, they issued me another order when they could have just gone after him on that one. Obviously, they thought it was serious enough to issue me a stay away. Do you see what I'm saying? So why couldn't they just go after him with that order that I had when I came to report him, that he had hit me, just a couple of weeks after I had come home from my surgery? So I was, not a bit, I was very disappointed, because now I had to go back to court, and here I am, I'm still
Still healing.
Months, yeah, after surgery. And I had domestic violence advocates there, and they were like, Nicole, you just had surgery. Well, you look good and everything, but I mean, I don't believe they told you to come back. That's a lot on you, and it was. It was.
Can you speak on that process, Officer of the Law?
What process do you need me to speak on?
What she just described, how she was
disappointed with how they dealt with that order that I had, and that they could have gone after him.
I can't speak on it because I was not the officer there. I would have handled the situation like I explained previously. We take it, and we are trained to take it very seriously. Any acts of violence, we have an understanding that it's an automatic arrest. We don't ask the party if you want the other party arrested, because we know, because of the closeness, that in most cases they won't want them arrested. They just may want them just to be documented.
Officer, what's the average length of jail stay for someone that is arrested for domestic violence?
Again, that's a issue of court and an issue of the nature of the arrest and the repetitiveness of the arrest, or of the crime. all those factors play a role into the length of time they will be incarcerated.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Well, we're going to take another break. And when we come back, I want to ask you some questions about what you're doing today. All right? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You know you already want a Toyota, but when you want more from your Toyota store, you want Smithtown Toyota, where every Toyota comes with Smithtown Toyota's Toyota for Life program, giving you lifetime New York State inspections, lifetime 10% discounts on all parts and service, 2 years of complimentary oil changes, 2 years of scheduled maintenance, and more, all at no cost to you, plus low clear-out deals on every Toyota in stock. Get more from your Toyota store. Hurry to Smithtown Toyota.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Horsehair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly using Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
Welcome back to Passion for Life with Dee and Friends, and my name is Chella, sitting in for Dee this evening. I happen to have Dee on the phone with us. Dee, welcome to Passion for Life.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for doing my show today, and this is a very important topic, and I had to call in, and I believe that this I really, of course, we're only going to touch on it today. You're going to touch on it for just a minute, and I think we can do this again. But I actually grew up in a home that had some domestic violence. My mother was married to a man, her second marriage, and I remember it, when you started talking about it, I was like, oh, wow, you know, I was only about 14, 15 years old, but they used to fight, and it was so disheartening. And I remember ultimately she just moved out without even telling him. But it was so not good, conducive to live there and to see your mom get beat up, you know, because of the violence, and you know, because they were either drunk or just doing something that wasn't right, and they would just go at it at each other. So it's so not cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
so, you know, I heard a little bit of your guest story, and I do feel for her, because at least she was able to finally get out of it.
Right.
So that's a blessing, you know. It's very hard. A lot of times you're in there, and you don't even, you do feel very, you know, like trapped, and you don't really know how to get out of it. So
right.
it's just very hard and embarrassed, and I do understand that.
Well, Dee, thank you so much for calling into your own show.
Well, again, thank you so much for doing the show. And as I said, if we can do this again, that would be so phenomenal.
Absolutely. Enjoy yourself in sunny Florida.
Oh, thank you so much. Have a really good rest of the show. Take care.
All right, sweetheart. Bye-bye.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
I just want to tell any of our viewers that there's a Suffolk County Domestic Violence Hotline, and that number is 631-666-8833. That number again is 631-666-8833. 24-hour hotline. So, Nicole, you've been through hell and back. Your health is
tip-top.
Tip-top.
That's right.
Good for you. Good for you. Talk to me about your children that witnessed all the abuse. How are they doing?
They're serious, and they're very strong, and they are very mature. It has made them. They've grown really quickly because of the situation. Because they had to pretty much care for mommy. These kids. Okay, I'm gonna go from the oldest to the youngest. 22 now, 22, 17, 13, 9, and 6. They fed me, bathed me, gave me my medication when, well, we have many names for this individual, was right there next to me. Didn't do a thing. What he did say was I was fat and lazy. I slept too much. Now, you have brain surgery, what are you gonna do? So all of that, I heard. But I was like, whatever, buddy, because I made it. I'm here.
His two biological children, how do they interact with him, the father?
Well, they're forced because, like I said, of the court-ordered visitation. But I don't really want to speak about them too much because should he see it?
Okay.
Because he says a lot of things to the children. You not believe one. Was he told my 6-year-old baby girl that your mother tried to kill you when she was in her stomach. And when I picked them up from the precinct one Sunday evening, she got in, she said, Mommy, you didn't want me? Daddy said you didn't want me. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said that he said that you tried to kill me when I was in your belly. See, this falls under the category as parental alienation. See, all of this, when the parents are divorced or the significant other is out of the house, this is another tactic. So, and now I even had a lawyer, and he was like, Nicole, well, it's obvious that he's trying to control you from the outside through the children and through the home, because I'm still in the house. I never went to a shelter. Now I used to work in a shelter with women that were abused. They would come in with their children, and he told me, where you work, you're going to be living there. So he tells them a lot of nonsense.
Wow.
They come home. I had them in counseling a whole bit, so I have to undo it. But being that they're still going because of the court order, so it's like I pull them out of it, you know, and try and help them get through it, help them grow. But then when they go back for the visitation, they fall back into the same dark, gray, wooded area. So it's not fair. They're babies. So domestic violence, it affects everybody. Now, when they go, of course, my older children, the house is quiet. The little ones aren't there to make noise and drop crumbs. But I say, we pray, and I say, they're going to be fine. I have this saying, each person, each wrongdoer, they will perish alone. You cannot continue your life doing this craziness and think that you will live a happy, peaceful life. You're going to die alone. He doesn't understand that. Hopefully he does one day. If he doesn't, oh well. But I have to do what I have to do for my children. It's hard. It's been hard. It's what, 3 years. October was my 3rd year since my surgery.
Wow. So
I tell them, we say I have 2 birthdays. But like I said, my kids have grown. They have grown since what they've seen. Like the caller said, we didn't drink anything. It was no drugs involved. He just had a mental problem. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but like, dude, seriously, it's not that serious. I mean, furniture, whatever, like candles, whatever. We had little things around the house. They were flying around the house like it had wings. You would buy it. 2 hours later, it was broken. And he would say, I bought it so I can break it. But he thought he was going to break me. But I'm still here.
Good for you.
And you had said something earlier, but off camera, what am I doing now or have done? I've written a book. So, see, people don't understand when you let the negative go, you will grow. You will grow. But you just have to find that courage to let that go.
Have you published a book?
It's been published since May of this year.
Oh, I wish you had brought a copy.
I actually do. It's in my van outside, but and I meant to bring the flyer, but whatever.
Congratulations. What's the name of the book?
Venomous Minds. It's part 1.
Venomous Minds.
Venomous Minds.
Very good. That was therapeutic for you, wasn't it?
Very. But it's not even. This is part 1. The part with the domestic violence abuse isn't even in that. But when I get there, I get there.
Are you in therapy?
No, a lot of people ask me. Like I said, I just want to get my kids in therapy first because of what they saw. And my 6-year-old, she says, Mommy, I always worry about you. How is your head? I'm like, Mommy's okay. Like, actually now they are with their father. This is the weekend that they have. This is the weekend that he has with them. And every time she comes and she goes, Mommy, I prayed for you. I always, I worry. Baby, don't worry. Mommy's okay. But I did, but then I didn't go. I forgot why I didn't make it. Probably something with the kids because the older ones, they're like in track, football. I'm all over the place. So it's hard, but it is possible.
Do you work?
I did. And talking about that, over the summer he called CPS. He called CPS, and then I was under investigation. And they're not the caseworker. She's not supposed to disclose to you as far as who made the call, the complaint or whatever. But she said so much, and she said, well, they said that you yell, you beat your kids, and you're schizophrenic or what? But when she said that, I was like, you don't have to tell me who it is. I already know who it is. And the reason why, when she said that, because he had signed off on a court document that I was schizophrenic, and my doctor, Felix something. I'm like, who's Felix Trinidad? My doctor, my surgeon wasn't even a male. But I'm like, wait, so defamation of character or whatever, category that falls. I'm like, wait, so now the whole CPS thing, and I'm like, just leave me alone. I'm just trying to live and raise my kids. You did your damage. Yeah, you're gone. Just leave me alone. But where I was working, they investigate, and if you're mentioned in a CPS case or whatever, I forgot, they will notify your employee and everything. So it was unfounded. I knew that was a no-brainer. Because my kids aren't being abused. It was just something that he just tried because he wanted full custody. That was his way of thinking that he was going to get full custody. Because when the kids would go with him, he would tell them, your mother's going to pay child support and you're going to live with me. So they would come up with another thing. Mommy, Daddy said we're going to live with him and you're going to pay. What does a 9 and 6-year-old know about child support? They couldn't even, they said something about children's, I said, child support? He said, yeah. So what? So he tells them, this isn't a child's topic. He doesn't, he gives them books, sexual content. And my son said, Daddy, this is a Superman book because he's illiterate. He didn't finish 3rd grade. All of this stuff, see, the thing is, I jumped into the marriage. I didn't really know the man myself. We got married 3 months after we had met. And I read something on sociopathic behavior, like everything has to be rushed. And he would say, oh, like, you don't want people to know that you're with me. You don't hold my hand, you know, in the whole marriage thing. Like, everything had to be rushed. I'm like, no, I really do like you. Like, why are you saying that? So I felt guilty. Like, I was pressured. And instead of me seeing the signs, I'd never been in a relationship like that.
You were caught up in the Kool-Aid trying to figure out the flavor.
And Lord, that flavor was nasty.
Nicole, we have a mutual friend that told me that you wanted to make some noise about domestic violence. What are your plans besides your books that you're writing?
Right now, I mean, I have a lot of ideas, and eventually I will put them into play. Because I plan on going back to school and getting a degree in social in that field, whatever. Because I have another friend, she does forensic psychology or something like that. I don't know. It's a lot of areas I can go into. But like right now, I just have to make sure I have to stay on top of my health, make sure my kids are all okay. I have 2 that's actually graduating this year. So there's a lot that I still have. My plate is always going to be full. But I try to put my kids first because when I was with him, I didn't. And I realized that my now 13-year-old needed glasses. And instead of me realizing that my son could not see, I happened to see it on a video that we were watching and laughing. I'm like, wait a minute, why was he squinting? I said, oh my God, my baby needed glasses when he was like 5 or 6. He got his glasses, I think, when he was like, I can't even remember, but it was years. Like I had neglected my children because I was trying to help this guy. I would read to him instead of reading to my children. I was helping him out. I actually read the manual, the DMV manual, so he could get his license because he kept failing the written exam. And that, like, whatever, if he failed, whatever he set out to do, and if he failed, it was everybody's fault. And I would try and calm him down and be like, well, no, let's try again, whatever. But it was like, and then he was in the military in his country. And he would say, I was trained to kill. So all of this, all of the signs were there, but I ignored it, you know? And I'm like, he can't be serious. Like, why would you kill somebody? But meanwhile, he would say things. He was going to put, what do you call it, antifreeze, kill all the cats in the area. If a possum or raccoon crossed in front of, because it actually happened, he hit the accelerator instead of slowing down. I'm like, so that's why in the beginning I said it starts with animals. He's an animal.
Has this experience caused you to be shy with your next relationship?
No, if anything, I'm more outspoken than ever. No, and as far as relationship, I don't even think about it. Right now, my relationship is with my children. I'm not.
You gun shy?
No. I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Do you think that you're prepared and ready to speak with other women?
I have.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
I do as much as I possibly can. If it's
Good.
On a one-on-one basis or in a group session, I do as much as I possibly can. I actually spoke at a college. Like I said, I do as much as I can. People like, Nicole, do you mind? Can you come out? Come out to our church? Can you come to? If I'm, if I have the time, yeah. If time permits.
Do you see yourself starting your own organization?
Mm-hmm.
And what would be the purpose?
To help other women. Again, domestic violence does not discriminate. But because I'm a woman, I have children, and I know what it is to, how can I say it? I know what it is to just want to say something and hope that whatever I say is to that right individual. Because you can talk to people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that person or persons will help you, will want to help you. Some people just want to, and it's a gossiping thing. No, you want to help these people get out of that situation because life has so much more to offer.
Do you know if there are support groups for children that are victims of domestic violence?
There's a lot of groups out here. A lot of groups on Long Island. Actually, I'm still finding out because, like I said, I go out and speak and people say, oh, Nicole, this is a group and it's right here. So as I go out and speak, I learn. As long as you live, you learn.
You learn, no doubt, no doubt. We're going to take another break and we'll be right back.
All new equipment, all new sets, exciting new shows for 2015, only on MadhouseTV.com. 2015 is coming, and so are exciting new shows on Madhouse TV. We're pouring more into what makes us so fun and different. All new sets, all new equipment, and more to enhance your viewing experience. It's a brand new year. Watch what happens on Madhouse TV.
Welcome back to Passion for Life with Dee and Friends, and I'm sitting in for Dee. My name is Chella from Body Shop TV, which you can catch here on MadhouseTV.com every Saturday from 2 to 4. We talk about wellness and relationships. So in closing, Nicole, I want to thank you so much for coming out tonight, especially you, officer of the law. Nicole, do you have any closing comments, closing thoughts that you want to share before we say goodnight?
Yes. To the women, please, when you do go to file or request an order of protection or report the individual, just follow through with it.
Follow through.
Follow through. Follow through. And don't be ashamed to give details.
Okay.
Because it is your life that we're talking about. It is. Life is wonderful.
All right. Thank you, Nicole.
I hope I didn't whisper that. I hope they heard me.
Officer of the Law, do you have any closing remarks?
Yes. I want everyone who has to deal with domestic violence to understand that there's no such thing as a one-time abuser. Abuser is a habit. It is not a one-time occurrence. Make sure that you report it, because we can't do anything unless you report it. And most importantly, we need you to follow through with it. Because like it goes back to the first thing I said, there's no such thing as a first-time abuser. This abuser is something that has been learned or taught or has been trained. We don't come out as abusers, we're learned. It's a learned behavior. So we have to make sure that that behavior stops when in the parties that we haven't been learned with. So
nip it in the bud.
Exactly.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for being here this evening, Officer of the Law. I really appreciate it. Again, the hotline for Suffolk County Domestic Violence is 631-666-8833. That number again is 631-666-8833. Thank you for joining us this evening, and Dee will be back next week. I want you to have an awesome week. Love hard and kiss long. Good night.